I am so excited, you guys. I have someone from my favorite place in the world, UK, and her name is Suzie Adams. She's from the south coast of England, and I met her through this program. It's called LMA, Life Mastery Achievement, and also Speaking Mastery Accelerator. So she has been amazing, amazing role model in the LMA and SMA. You're going to love her. She embraces the challenges of raising two children, and she, career-wise, has been in HR management. Things she enjoys. I loved it. Enjoys hosting. I wish I was in London. Cooking and investing time helping others. So she is here today to share. We were talking about a few things, but I think I would like to focus on why and how can parents stop being dream stealers and not allow our own personal anxieties get in the way of like positive parenting. What can we do to become better parents? Oh, can you hear me?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, no, it's kind of.
Oh,
Can you
is it
hear me?
lagging? Did you hear the
No,
question?
sorry. Yeah, no, I couldn't hear it. Then it paused. Sorry, Karen.
Oh, okay, it's all right. That's all right. Yeah, so how can we not allow our I think we were talking about it. We like to prevent our children from being hurt and disappointed.
Okay.
So as
Yeah.
parents, how can we stop being, I loved how you call it dream stealers, and really, because we think we're being realists. We don't think we're stealing dreams. We think, you know what? No, you don't want to be a Academy Award actress. You want to be an attorney or a doctor or something that we think will provide them with financial security. But how do we do it?
Wow, I think it's really interesting actually because the way I was before, if I start by talking, I was very anxious about my children and how they were fitting into society and how they were getting on at school. So we were quite focused about having realistic goals for them. And I went on a self-discovery journey and went back in time and realised that perhaps my life would have been a lot different if the parenting that I'd received had been different. So I always dreamed about being a dancer, and my parents set realistic goals for me, saying, it's great that you have a dream, but you need a plan B. And then from that moment, I didn't pursue my dreams. So I think from the realisation of that, it's really important that we allow our children to explore what they want to do and support them in whatever their passions are. So if your child comes to you, for example, my daughter loves singing, and so what am I going to do? I'm going to buy her a lovely karaoke machine and kind of embrace her passion. I think it's so important that we always lead by example and show that we're turning up for ourselves and that we're fulfilling our lives and we're allowing ourselves to have time on our own passions and our own joys. Because that's something they don't get taught at school, right? It's very much about a pass or fail, exams, memorizing information. And perhaps that's probably something that's missing from schooling, is that we don't allow them to explore their true passion and who they truly are meant to be.
Definitely. Well, the academics is such a huge emphasis when you're from kindergarten through, throughout high school. And then you're right, we are not even focusing on the passion because we just tell them, stop playing video games, stop playing and do your homework,
Yeah,
study for
yeah,
exams,
absolutely.
log
Study
on to
for
your
those
distance
spellings.
learning.
Yeah, yeah,
Do your virtual
absolutely,
learning assignments.
totally.
I know it's boring, but you know what? You don't have time for passion. You need to do these assignments.
Absolutely, I know. And it's so critical in the early years because, I mean, how are we going to find ourselves if we don't have time to explore all those beautiful things? And that I guess, a lot of children are scared of failing potentially through going through school because they're studying and they're learning knowledge. And then at the end, they either get a pass or a fail,
Yes.
for how much they can remember and not what gifts they can bring, what gifts they can give to the world.
So what are little things that parents can do? Well, regarding sometimes it's even when it comes to discipline too, I mean, it's off the track, but the words that we use, don't you think sometimes that alone can affect their self-esteem, and then their self-esteem can even affect the possibility of pursuing their passion?
Absolutely. Yeah. I think it's really important, if your child comes to you with a very unrealistic in your eyes goal, um, but it's really important to embrace those. So if your child's got, I don't know, if they want to be an astronaut and it's going through your mind, it's like I will always tell my children, you can be whoever you want to be, anything is possible. And just by encouraging them, just with positive language and building up their self-esteem, because we don't know what our children are capable of. So yeah,
We
positive language,
don't.
definitely.
What was your worst fear as a mom?
I think probably my worst fear as a mum, my past self was very, very anxious in terms of allowing my children to take risks.
Hmm.
I used to be one of those mums that had to turn around in the playground and look the other way because I would always say, you can go on the swings, but don't swing too high.
Hmm.
Climb that tree, but don't go to the top. So they never, I was holding back their capabilities. And I think as a parent, you have to weigh up the risks, but we've got to encourage our children that life is a risk-taking business. It's if you want to achieve and you want to strive and you want to push out of your comfort zone and grow as a person, that does involve taking risks. So now I really feel that I can step into this person that can encourage my children. When they say they can't do something, I'll be there cheering them on rather than discouraging them away from a potentially dangerous situation. Again, it's about weighing it up. But then to see their face when they've taken that risk and they've done something that's empowered them, is, all that anxiety then can go away as a parent, I think, because you feel so proud that you've been there supporting them, and also be open and honest about your fears. I communicate a lot and say, well, I'm a little bit nervous, but I have every faith in you. Um, it's okay to be honest with them because you're trying to lead by example, aren't you? And you're trying to encourage them to do the same.
That is a huge sentence to say, like just owning it. And that's what's the big thing now, being vulnerable and saying it's not, because my daughter's practicing driving. When you get to that phase,
Oh gosh,
you are
yes,
blessed
I'm picturing it
with
now.
yes, you're blessed with little ones. Talk about having zero control, feeling anxious, and you have no control over the other drivers. You don't have control over her or him, but you don't have control over someone cutting in front of you, or someone committing road rage, maybe just yet, because yelling can cause the driver, and an experienced driver and even an experienced driver, right? You just feel like, wait a minute. And then that one split second, I'm
Yeah.
visualizing the worst case scenario. My husband just grabs the wheel or presses the emergency brake, and I remember having to deep breathe, and then I'm finally realizing I'm not there yet. And I said, I have to say, it's nothing to do with you, but the panic attacks that I have are not anything to do with you, but it is,
Yeah.
because I'll be like, there's cars on both sides. I know, mom.
I know, and sometimes I think it really helps to be open and say, look, we've all got fears and I'm dealing with it and this is how I deal with it.
Yes.
Go ahead and take that risk, but calculate it when you need to. And but the important message, I guess, is, if it's about a dream or a passion or an ambition, then that risk
Yes.
is often worth taking, isn't it?
Well, because you won't know. You won't
Yeah,
know. And that's
exactly.
recently what happened to my older one. It's like, if you have a job opportunity, in California, but you have to move in 3 weeks. And I remember, my husband and I, what do? You have to get a car and an apartment in 3 weeks. But I thought, no matter what, there is no wrong decision, but trusting that you follow your intuition. And I thought, it's easy to do that instead of, I have to have the right words. I have to have the right decision, and I have to, because sometimes as parents, have you done this where maybe they're too little, but you really advocate a certain decision? It could even be a small thing, and then when they do it, they say, you know what? I shouldn't have listened to you, mom. I should have done. It could be like a movie choice. You said that we should have watched
Yeah.
this. Oh, I wish we would have watched the one that I wanted. But both choices were good before you watch the one that you didn't want to watch.
Well, I mean, even if, because my kids are a bit younger, but even if they don't say it verbally, I know if I've influenced the situation that
Oh
wasn't very
yeah.
good, you can tell there are repercussions, there is disappointment, and the disappointment is often in themselves. And you feel
Yes.
guilty for taking part in that persuasion because, you know, we have quite a big responsibility as adults that we probably can influence and persuade a lot easier than a child. And actually, sometimes they need to listen to their intuition and their hearts to guide them. And sometimes it's best that we don't meddle, isn't it? And it's hard not to
Oh my
jump.
gosh. Yeah, I had a 12-year-old say, yeah, I'm not a reader because my dad doesn't read. But the mom reads, and she says, yeah, but I take after my dad. I don't
Oh,
read. And I thought, it is amazing how you don't realize as a parent you have such an impact. And reading is one of those things, right? Or sports. And that's what I growing up, sports was not my thing. And then I thought, wow, that also relates to games. I don't like to play games. And then my daughter recently said, what is it? You have to, go in deeper, mom. And what is the trigger?
oh, I love
And then
it.
you feel like you're being coached, and it is, I guess it is my ego. I had to finally say, okay, I don't like to lose, mom, and I said, okay, her boyfriend's coming over from California. He wants to do a family game night, and I'm having a lot of anxiety over it, Susie. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
Oh,
It's over a
bless.
family game, and my friends saying to me, "We'll find a way to get out of it." I said, "I could say I'm not feeling
Yeah.
well." They're like, "No, that's not good, because then what if you end up like karma?" So I said, "No,
Oh,
you
we
know
all have
what?
those things, though,
Yeah,
don't
I said
we?
I will do it." And then I'm thinking, I have to, maybe it is a limited belief. It's like, what is it going to mean if I lose? So my friend said I should really have like balloons or something, and if he wins or someone else wins, go, yeah, and just really make it a big thing. And it wouldn't
Yeah.
matter if I lost, but that's the kind of thing with little kids. Have you played games with them? And then if they lose, right?
Yeah. It's very, very tricky. And I think it's very hard for me because I'm quite a black and white person. You know, you win, you lose, it's a game, we play by the rules, everything's fair. And it's quite hard for me to allow them to express themselves and find out how they want to play. You know, do they want to cheat at the game? Can I allow that to happen? And I've taken a lot less control actually, because a lot of these lessons that children that we try and instill in them, cheating's not nice, or I won't want to play with you if you cheat. These are the constant things that I say. I actually realised that perhaps these are lessons that they have to learn in other situations, like when they're playing with their peers, or
Yes.
siblings, and that potentially, I should just let it go and I should stop. I mean, we're there to teach them lessons, but some of those lessons they don't want to hear from their parents, and sometimes you have to just let those go and just see the value of spending that time together, and know that they will learn it elsewhere, probably from another source, a lot stronger. Because I've heard myself say, I don't want to play with you if you cheat because I just don't have fun. And I've said that so many times that it's obviously not gone in. So maybe I should just give up on that and just enjoy the moment.
Oh yeah, definitely. That's a real good one though, because you're right. They will encounter cheating, and if they've never encountered that when it first happens, they're shocked because in their little world, no one cheats. No one cheats.
Absolutely.
And then you realize, not that it's good, but that people will, like shoplift. People, I had a parent, a child say, "You mean kids sometimes don't do their homework?" What? She was mortified. She was
Oh,
mortified, and I thought, well, that's because I said, what makes you do your homework all the time? Just because I would get in trouble. But is that the right incentive to do homework? Like when you're in college,
yeah,
when you're on your
yeah.
own. And so I thought, really interesting. Then you have the other child. Well, I'm not going to do it. Why? Because I don't see any value in it, and I'm not doing it. I'll just take the F. And you think two totally different. And parents are the same. You must do the work. You must do this. But it really is it's almost like they're with their own DNA or something, and you either have it,
Yes,
almost 30 years, you
absolutely.
think that what is the secret to a student who's motivated versus a student who doesn't care if they fail? It's right. Like your two
I
children are
know.
probably very different. Do they have
Yes,
different personalities?
absolutely. And different passions. I mean, that's the key, is when we're so passionate about something, the drive is there. and we're almost forcing our children to be passionate about these things that they have to conform. So it goes back to school again, and
Yes.
but it's hard because there's a balance, because whether we like it or not, society is there and they need to fit in with society. Or do they? We don't really know, but we try and help them to fit in with society, and have some sort of idea of what could be out there for them when they leave school, when they have, they want a job or a career. So it's very tricky. And to have a fully spirited, authentic child that you've let run wild, you think, well, actually, would they fit into this world as it is at the moment? I don't know. So yeah, there must be a balance
Well, and that's
between the
it.
two,
I
I
think
guess.
it's a balance, because if they do choose to say work in the corporate world or work in an environment where there are rules, and if they're taught, you don't have to follow the rules, you can be creative, and then they get fired from a job they enjoy, then you feel like where's what's the what do you do, you know?
I know it's very much, and I mean, you can be as free as you like, but you've got to be able to work with other people and be able to fit in slightly with society, and know that, it's nice that we can teach them lessons as parents like that, but inevitably they'll probably come across it with their friends and things like that anyway, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, and then especially as teenagers, my daughter went to a very strict Christian school, and then the first time we transferred her into public school, she caught the bus, which she never did before. And these
Oh,
girls were, I guess some of them, had like piercings, or they swore, or they shared that they smoked weed with their aunt, and she was just like, and I think she was very, "What? You're not supposed to do that." And part of me thought, and what did they say? They said, "I can because my auntie said I can." She goes, "But that was wrong, Mom." So then that opens up, right? It's so many discussions where
yeah.
you're teaching your child, though, not to judge, but at the same time, society judges. And if you did get caught and you're a minor, you will suffer the consequences, suspension. You'll have to go to, I think, drug rehab after school if you're a minor, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it is very tricky, isn't it, to find the balance? Totally.
That's a total different conversation. But I know it's really late for you. But I thank you so much, Suzie. I think just hearing you had a lot of golden nuggets, because I think that the top three I would say is allow your child to pursue their passion, and then not allow our personal anxieties prevent. It's almost like we're stunting our child's growth. Would you say that? Like we're
Yeah,
preventing
yeah,
them from getting out into what we think is a scary area. And then lastly is, yeah, maybe it's allowing them to experience life on their own, in the sense of, like you said, you tell them not to cheat, which I've struggled with that. When you have a 5 and 7 year old, and they like change the thing, you want to say you cheated, and then it becomes a whole. When they start crying, then you think, wait a minute, what was the purpose?
yeah,
I
absolutely.
forgot the purpose is to have fun. But I'm like you, yeah, you can have fun, but you must follow the rules. And then, so maybe just realize the real purpose of a
Yeah,
parent, and to incorporate play.
absolutely.
Well, thank you so much. And I look forward to watching. Oh yeah, too bad. And people over here can't watch your videos because they are in our private group, but you can tell just with I mean, you're very eloquent. You have a lot of, I think, life lessons that you've learned because of your journey, right?
Absolutely, yes. Yes,
So
and
do
I'm
you
really
have
looking forward to leading by
yes,
example for my kids, hopefully, and that would be the easiest way for them to learn.
definitely, definitely. I look forward to seeing your kids grow. And we
Oh,
have to touch base, and because you said what, 7 and 9? Those are magical
yeah,
ages.
yeah, 7 and
Actually, with
9.
the brain at 7, that's when like the fairy tale age ends. So the first 7 years, right? And then after that,
Yeah,
though, I mean, talk about major influence in what we say, and sometimes not even what we say, but the energy that we give.
yeah, absolutely. And they're watching your every move, every action, every
Yes.
decision you make. Absolutely. I'm going to try and play that fairy tail age out a little bit longer if I can.
You know what? There is, I think,
I'm gonna
the fairy
try.
tale, yeah, because my daughter at 19 just loves any kind of superpowers. Her whole thing is still
Oh,
watching
great.
animation, and we
I
think,
love
yeah,
that.
this is proof that you can be an adult and still, I guess, capture that magic of youth. Might
Yeah,
keep us
absolutely. I mean,
young.
most of us adults spend our whole adult life trying to get back the magic. So I'm going to try and keep it in my
Yes,
kids as long as
exactly.
possible.
Maybe that's what we should do. Yeah, prolong that
Yeah.
magic and that youth, because once you become an adult, it's just a lot of parts that cause us anxiety and stress.
I know, absolutely. I think we could learn more from our children than they can learn from us, to be fair.
Definitely. I totally agree with that. Well, I know it's late for you. Thank you so much, Suzie. We will
Oh,
touch base
lovely to
later.
see you.
Take care. Thanks.
Take
Bye.
care. Bye.